Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Wileke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Thank you once again for joining us together with Barrister Austin Manta, who we shall be discussing several topics that borders the polity in Nigeria. Barrister, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers, if this is your first time, this is JIBRIN Angle. It's a podcast. It's an opinion show where both parties, both the guest and the presenter or the host, share their opinion. It's not an interview session per se. Yeah, we ask questions. The guest is also permitted or has the privilege also to, or rather the opportunity to ask questions as well. So that is the way this show rolls. All right, we have, like I said earlier, we have several stuff to talk about. Barrister, let's kickstart this one. Just as I was about starting this show, I came across this quotes from Professor Chidi Odinkalu. You know him, right? Obviously, I think
Yes.
he's a public affairs analyst as well. Yeah, he's a professor I respect so much. He's been very vocal, very apt, very daring in his statements, and most of his statements are very actually objective. I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm not sure. Let me ask you this because I just came across it while coming on this show. The Nigerian Supreme Court committed a supreme scandal by failing to provide a documented ruling on Peter Obi's appeal, raising serious concerns about judicial transparency and accountability. I don't get it, Barrister. Is this true? You mean the appeal that Peter Obi filed, the judgment of the Supreme Court over Peter Obi's case? There is nothing was issued, no document was issued to that effect.
I'm sitting here. Which of the case, by the way, is he talking about? Is it the case relating to Labour Party, or which case in particular? Because Obi has been involved in a couple of cases that reached the Supreme Court. So which of them?
Did Obi fight? I don't know. Was he the one who really directly fought for this for the Labour Party stuff, their leadership? I don't think so.
No, not directly, but he was involved. We normally in the Nigerian lexicon we will say Peter Obi because he
Yeah,
is
but
the
I don't.
dominant
Okay, I don't
party.
have the. Sorry about this. I don't
But
have
if
the
you are
detail.
talking about
I don't have
you
the
are
detail
talking
of it,
about
but at least I
the
think for him to direct it at Peter Obi direct, I think it should be the election case, the
it will
main
be
election
strange.
case.
It will be more than strange to say that they didn't provide the judgment because number one, that judgment, as far as that election case judgment, it was read live on television for a couple of hours, and we all tuned and heard the judgment being read by each of the justices of the Supreme Court. So I don't know how a couple of years after that you'll be saying that that judgment has not been provided. It's a bit strange to me.
Okay,
I do know.
let's even assume that okay we are not I don't have the specific details here. Let's even assume that it's a different case entirely, not the Supreme. Whatever case it is, why will the Supreme Court? Does it make sense for a Supreme Court to issue judgment without issuing the document, the judgment document to both parties?
What normally happens is that once the judgment is given, the councils, you apply for a certified true copy, and it is normally given to you. But I do know that in some cases there is delay in actually giving because maybe one or two justices has not signed his own judgment yet. You know, like 5 or 7 justices will deliver judgment. Each of them writes his own judgment, signs it, and reads it out. Now, when it is typed, for certification. It is sent back to the judge to proofread and be firm and clear that it is in consonance with what he actually read in court before signing. Only at that point will the registrar certify the judgment and give to the parties. In some cases, it used to take, it can take up to 6 months, depending on certain circumstances, where, for instance, they delivered judgment when they were going on leave, and most of the judges have gone on leave. I have a judgment in Court of Appeal Abuja that was delivered on 4th of July, and I sent somebody last week, and they said we should come after vacation, when the judges would have come and signed the job. In the absence of that, I do not see how a judgment cannot be given, a copy of a judgment cannot be given to the parties or their lawyers.
All right. Does it mean, let me ask you, because again, I'm trying to make sense out of this. Does it mean that, is it possible for the Supreme Court to act to a kind of delete its judgment record, the record of its judgment? Because I don't know, because that's the only thing, that's the only sense I'm trying to make out of it. Is it possible for a judgment, a precedent to be deleted from record?
It's not possible for judgment. Judgments of the Supreme Court are read in the public, in open court. In fact, they make it a practice now. Most of the judgments are read on Friday. Or for instance, in a certain month, all the judgments that to be delivered will be fixed on a Friday, and on that Friday, only judgments will be delivered.
What if it were? Let me ask you, because so crazy things can happen in Nigeria, honestly, because nothing is surprising to me when it comes to Nigeria. What if even if it was read? What in this scenario? Even if it was read, and the Supreme Court decides to just expunge the entire expunge it from record? Because we all know that, come back to the election, whatever, we know how the Supreme Court goofed in so many areas, especially like this Abuja issue, Abuja electoral votes or whatever, winning Abuja electoral, and other stuff or whatever, that the Constitution was is very, very clear on, yet they went against the Constitution to rule in favor of Bola Tinubu or whatever. Do you think that even they themselves, they know that this is whatever, this is not something that should stand?
Let me be very clear. That kind of scenario is unthinkable, because you have read the judgment. Like I said, this judgment was read live on television. A lot of people have captured the judgment. They have it. A lot of us captured the judgment. People have the judgment. So how do you get about deleting it? And secondly, the judgments of the Supreme Court are reported by several law reports. Some are electronic. They are almost simultaneously reported, that the law pavilion reports judgment of the Supreme Court simultaneously as soon as they are delivered. Other law reports, weekly law reports, Supreme Court judgments, they collect judgment of the Supreme Court and bind it in a booklet, which we buy. So, and when the judgment is delivered in public, people listen to it. The lawyers on both sides listen to it and capture it. So how will you delete the judgment? Now, okay, in this case that he is talking about, I really don't, I wish he could have provided
no, it's possible he could have, because like I said, it's just a quote. Someone just posted his quote. I don't, it's possible. I didn't do my, like I said, I didn't have the time to actually do my research.
If this is more than 2 years, 2 years.
Yes, of course.
At least up to 2 years that the judgment was delivered. If that election case judgment had not been given to now, it would have been a big scandal. It would not be just from an online, it would have been a big scandal. The lawyers who appeared for Peter Obi, in that case, senior lawyers, they would have cried foul long ago. So I want to check the particulars.
Yeah, because I think because if he's mentioning, hold on, because if he's mentioning Peter Obi directly, by failing, he said the Nigerian Supreme Court committed a supreme scandal by failing to provide a documented ruling on Peter Obi's appeal. So it's not a Labour Party appeal. It's a Peter Obi's appeal. So that's it's only the election case that Peter Obi directly was involved in. So it's about that.
That is why I'm saying Peter Obi had very senior lawyers who represented him. I would be surprised to be hearing it from Odinkalu. His own lawyers that were in the court that represented him as senior advocates. If after 2 years they have not got the judgment and they have kept quiet, it will be surprising.
All right.
Because even the Supreme Court justices can be petitioned to the NJC, even though the CJ
is the head of the NJC. So who is NJC and who is the Supreme Court?
Even for the public, for the benefit of the public, it can be there as a record that we petition against the panel that did this appeal. You know, it's a panel. It's not all of them. There are about 15. So
all right. Okay, let's not spend too much time on this.
After 2 years, you have not got a judgment, I would petition the NJC